Yeah, there we go.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, August 8th meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Grand Marais Public Library. I'm Sarah McManus, trustee.
Electra Brandlin, Library Director.
Dave Mills, County Commissioner.
Shane Steele, Sustainability Coordinator, City Grand Marais.
Kevin Laborde, Vice President.
Sue McClone, trustee.
Right. Thank you all for being here. For the consent agenda, we've got tonight's agenda, the bills through July, and the minutes from our July meeting. Anything anyone needs to pull out consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Shane, you've got a boiler update for us. Thank you for this memo, giving us a quick overview.
Yeah. So in the memo, it's pretty simple. I've got the cost comparison of a propane boiler versus a electric boiler. And the math for this was given to me by Jamar.
Okay.
And when I reached out to them and asked, how do we decide the operating costs of propane versus electric? Because that's what we're talking about here, because they're pretty similar install costs.
Right.
They gave me a spreadsheet with a formula to equate BTUs of propane to kilowatt hours of electricity.
Yep.
The caveat with this data is that we only know how many gallons of propane get delivered to that tank intermittently. So we can make some assumptions about how much propane you go through in a month based on how much propane is delivered. But sometimes there's like not a month where there is a propane bill. They don't deliver. And so then it's like, okay, we're averaging months out and trying to figure how much propane was delivered to that tank, and then how much electricity would it take to be that much propane. The other thing is that you have 1 meter on this building, and it measures all the electricity, including what would be a propane boiler, or say these new heat pumps. We can't pull their usage out of how much electricity is used in the building. We could try to get fancy and figure out the load that these would be capable of producing, but then we'd really have to do some like, all right, well, how much did you use the heat pumps in January of 2025 and February of 2025? And it would be, we haven't been tracking that. I'm assuming we haven't been tracking that. You know, it's like they're just being used as you're using them. It feels like right now they're being used for air conditioning. So how much electricity are they using? We don't know exactly. We could try to compare month to month, like, you know, a January 2024 to a January 2025 to a January 2026, but the weather is a factor there. And so this is my roundabout way of saying, like, this cost analysis is as close as we can get without probably hiring someone to do a real deep dive energy analysis of this project. And as you can see, it's cheaper to go with propane than electricity for the operating costs from Jamar's calculation.
May I ask, how did you pick your propane figure?
That was the cost per gallon on our Como bill. Kind of, I was just looking through the Como bills for the last few years, and it's about 150. If you go back a little ways, it was a little cheaper. If you go back a little bit further, it was a little more expensive, you know?
$5 a gallon.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
That's I'd say one thing that's not in this memo is that, you know, asterisks propane prices are out of our control.
Unlike
electric prices are not in our control, but, you know,
At least set for the year.
They're set for the year, and they typically don't jump around like they never jump around like propane does. And they're set over at City Hall.
They're really 11 cents a kilowatt hour?
Yeah,
Wow, that's a lot cheaper than I'd expect, actually.
that's our
Hasn't changed a whole lot.
commercial residential rate right now.
Both commercial and residential.
Yep.
Huh. Have they gone down in your memory?
I don't think we can ever take them down, but we might not raise them
Sure.
for a year or two.
Yeah.
And it might be like 11.4.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Are the boilers the only thing that use propane in the building? The water heater is all electric, and I can't even imagine what else would be.
I think that's true, but
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd certainly be the bulk of it would be heating.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it feeds the infloor in this new wing,
Mhm.
and it feeds the radiators along the back wall.
So yeah, I don't mind the lack of month-to-month specifics, but was this a fairly accurate annual? Do you know? Because that's all in my mind. We can just look at the annual cost for either one, and you don't have to know. But maybe it's not any easier to figure. I don't know. It's just a.
Yeah. For what we've been paying for propane for those 2 years and what electricity would cost and Jamar's math, I'd say those are accurate. And then just with the additional caveat that I noted there that because we don't know the heating load that the heat pumps have absorbed,
Mhm.
those numbers aren't your actual heating costs for a year or a season because you're using electric heat a little bit already. So boiler may be used less than in previous years because the heat pumps are taking up some slack.
we're hoping that's the case. That's our strategy, right?
Yeah. It's so hard to pull those trends out when you're looking at just like delivered and 275 gallons in March and then 118 gallons in July. And sometimes Como will just top off a tank with what's left, so it's really random.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you have some thoughts on the $1.50 a gallon just from your experience?
No, I just, in my experience at the resort, it does seem like it's hard to predict with propane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We work a deal every year, but it's an unreliable number.
Mhm.
and what's not in there are some of the extra fees that are tacked on to the bills, propane bills for, I can't remember what some of those are, but this is just like British thermal units to kilowatt hours.
Mhm.
But on a propane bill, we have more than just that. More than just delivered fuel. There's
Mhm.
some other costs.
It's very interesting. And for real, it was $5 a gallon. Like,
6 years ago.
well, I don't know then. I was gonna say 11, but I don't really know when it was. And maybe that's not fair or accurate or relevant, but it's just I'll never forget. And
But even if it just went to $3 a gallon
or two,
or two,
yeah,
the math changes dramatically.
big,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just like, and just the long term. How long are we hoping to have these?
15 to 30 years,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So over what's going to happen then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the other part of the memo just was answering some questions about should we have one, because there's 2 boilers back there. Should we keep one as a propane as a backup to the electric? But they're really used, which makes sense to have them kind of on the same runtime. And then yeah, if you were going to replace them, should you do it in stages and just with mobilization and getting a crew in here? It's easy to just, it's like doing your brakes. You might as well just do the front and the rear. Just be done with it. so that they're on the same
Mhm.
mileage.
We probably couldn't get dual fuel if we did want a beach, huh?
Well, yeah, dual fuel.
We would need a backup.
That'd be the propane.
Oh, I
Right.
see. Do you want all
Yeah,
electric and propane? Then you're
Yeah.
But then it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's not.
So let's just go down that road because that's my department. Is like,
That's why I said it.
yeah. So you'd have a propane furnace and a or propane boiler and an electric boiler, and you could operate either of them as you wanted to, but at times, usually the coldest times,
Yeah.
we're
Late
going
at
to shut
night.
off the electric boiler, and during the day, so never do it at night, but we're going to shut off the electric boiler, and you're going to rely on the propane boiler, and that's going to do the bulk of your heating. And when it's super cold, your heat pumps aren't going to be as efficient, so you're really relying on that one electric boiler. And
No propane.
or sorry, the propane. You're relying on the propane boiler for up to 8 hours, but technically the policy says we could shut you off for 3 days.
Yeah.
We say 72 hours just so that that
Mhm.
propane boiler is robust. But then we'll turn your electric back on, and you can use your electric boiler again at the end of that day or 3 days.
More expensive install because we need a separate meter, right?
Mhm.
Separate line.
Yep, you need to sub-meter so that we could track that separate panel for the electric boiler.
Mhm.
The other load control we have is off peak, but I don't think the storage in your in floor is going to be big enough. We turn the off peak off every day at 7 a.m. and it stays off for 16 hours.
Oh.
And so if it's cold enough out, you have 16 hours of heat in this slab, just this slab, because that slab's not being heated, and you're certainly not getting any heat in your radiators.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Thanks for going down that road.
yeah. And then when I did mention, like, well, what if the library did do some dual fuel to Mike, he wasn't thrilled about the idea of it, just because it puts you in a vulnerable position.
Yeah,
It really
no,
does.
it's
And it adds a layer of complexity to
Oh,
the
yeah.
install.
Yeah, I mean, you those are
so
are
he didn't appreciate it either?
redundant. No, we kind of were like,
Hmm.
but yeah.
My leaning is still electric, but it's hard for me to justify when there's these projected operating costs.
This
But
could be
down the road.
temporary differences,
Yeah.
though, is the
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, I truly believe in the long run, it's gonna be the way to go. So
Yeah.
Shane, if you were the guy determining this, what would you do?
no pressure.
Well, yeah, that's a hard one for me to call. I like electric. It's we run the utility, we set the rates. I mean, we as in like the citizens of Grand Marais. You're paying the utility instead of a for-profit company. And it's a cleaner fuel source, so it backs up our climate action plan. Especially as our electricity gets more carbon free. And yeah, you've got a couple dollar amounts there that are, but propane's gonna do this, and they're gonna try to keep it as low as possible, but they always have to, make a profit for their investors. So, and an electric system is simpler. You're not burning something, so you don't have to deal with exhaust on site anyway, and you don't have to deal with deliveries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or running out?
True.
Right.
Yep. We've got the power plant up the hill. If the power goes out, turn that on. There's usually said
Also, one thing I noted was just the operational costs. I mean, they're significantly different, but when you're talking just dollars, 1,100 annually right now
Mhm.
versus the potential, or like historically what we've seen, not too distant. It just makes that up really quickly.
Mhm.
And I think we've talked about this, but I don't remember the installation of the systems comparable prices.
The rough quote was, yeah, about $25,000. 23 to 26 was like
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
turnkey installed amount that Jamar quoted us.
Is there still no, I don't know if you know anything about this too, but is there, like, I feel like I get a lot of media about cold weather heat pumps,
Mm-hmm.
like down to -30, and I just don't know, like, is that still skeptical, or is there still skepticism in the industry, or is it just prototypes, or do you guys know anything about, like, bigger ones than the mini split, like for a
Right.
whole, yeah.
You still need a backup, and typically, if you go with a big heat pump,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna use a radiator as a backup, just like electric resistance. Sorry, not a radiator,
Sure,
resistance,
sure.
which is the most inefficient use of heat.
Well,
So-
it's just the most, it's 100% efficient, just
It's just
most
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah, I should say, yeah, it's efficient. It's just there's
Yeah.
more efficient ways to do it. The heat pump is more efficient than that. They are getting better. They still require a backup. There are, heat pump boilers,
Mm-hmm.
which when I looked into rebates for this project,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be the direction we'd have to go
Mm-hmm.
to get a rebate from Simpa.
Mm-hmm.
Just a straight electric boiler isn't really compelling enough for them to give us a rebate for it.
Okay.
So,
So, I mean, is that a possibility that, or is it
you
just,
want me to look into that?
well, I just don't know how practical it is. Is this just like voodoo at this point, or is it like, is this real, or maybe it's just too expensive for a whole building?
I would have to get a quote for you on what a heat pump boiler would look like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just hear more and more about it, so I'm really curious.
Yeah, it's definitely the way the industry's moving.
Mhm.
I'm sure Twin Ports Custom Climate would give us a quote for that. The folks that did our heat pumps here.
Okay.
But then we would still need the backup.
Yeah, wonder if you could do like an electric backup, a backup heat pump boiler and an electric boiler, and run them. I don't know. I
Yeah.
really don't know. We're kind of out of
Yeah.
what I've looked into for this so far. But
Mhm.
I don't remember our timeline for this decision either. ASAP, or, I mean, we're just on buying time,
We
right?
are a proactive board. We are aware that the boilers are aging
Yeah.
and we're making our long-term strategy here. So
Yeah.
it's up to you. I think Shane had mentioned we're probably looking at a summer 2027 install or summer 2028. It just kind of depends on our timeline, but
yeah, I think we're too late. We couldn't get it done before this summer or this winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heating season, obviously.
Understandable.
so there's a little time in there.
Yeah. I just don't want to like draw this out longer than it needs to, but I am genuinely curious about the heat pump boiler.
You can ask questions about heat pump boilers if you're interested. When I asked Simpa about rebates, that was the direction they said for rebates.
Well, that seems like a avenue to explore.
But yeah,
I just don't want to be a pain.
$25,000 for 2 electric boilers. I don't know if
You can beat
2
that.
heat pump boilers are going to be $100,000. Yeah, I just don't know.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
And you use those guys, and you guys have geothermal, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying for a whole building boiler, or I just assumed I was talking about air source?
Yeah, I guess. So when we looked at these,
Yep.
I asked about, because you do have some ductwork that's just an air handler in here, and
Yeah.
I asked about putting a heat pump like package in the ductwork
Mhm.
to make it more like a furnace.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's really not there yet for that.
Oh, the heat pump technology.
The heat pump
Oh, okay.
for like a ducted heat pump
Gotcha.
in your existing ductwork. He was like, it's not quite there yet.
Okay.
We never talked about a heat pump boiler.
Okay.
I was thinking if you were asking about heat pump, that it would be, instead of a electric boiler,
Mhm.
straight electric, it would be a heat pump boiler.
Yes.
Heating, like air to water is what we're talking
Yes.
about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus water to water at City Hall, or is it water to air?
Water to air, I
Huh.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
That little room might get very cold if there's a heat pump in there because it's
Mm.
right. But then we could maybe exhaust it outside. I don't know.
Mm.
Right now it's really warm.
Mm.
That little
In the boiler
that little
room?
boiler room is like you go in there, it's super warm when they're running.
Robin Williams was living in there before. You haven't seen that movie?
He lives in a boiler room?
Yeah.
No.
We all drew a blank.
Ooh, I didn't know Robin Williams came to Grand.
Yeah, wasn't that was that Dead Poet Society or was that no? He was a teacher.
He was a teacher, and I don't remember him in a boiler closet ever.
Uh,
We're gonna have to look this up
yeah,
later.
later.
Yeah.
So point of order.
So do we want Shane to look into a heat pump boiler option
We might as well. We might as well have all our data.
with like a goal of making a decision at the October meeting?
Yeah,
About how we want to, do you feel like that's feasible?
Yeah, what I could do is maybe get a quote for just electric boilers
Mm-hmm.
and then a quote for what would a heat pump option look like so you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Or if it is an option.
Yeah, if it is an option.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But those wouldn't necessarily be the two choices to choose from. I think we would then want to go get like whatever build you select, we'd want to go get like real bids for it.
Yeah.
Probably might be small enough that we wouldn't need to get like real proper bids, but anyway.
Yeah.
We could talk about the
Yeah,
way
I
to
think
go.
it's explore, choose, 3 bids, vote, schedule it up. Sounds nice.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I can come back in October with some comparable numbers.
That'll be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work.
Wait,
already.
October or September?
Is October, I feel like October is more feasible. It gives you enough time.
Yeah.
Even,
Well, when would that meeting be?
good question. You have a calendar meeting?
It's the 4th Thursday of October.
We're in Tahiti, actually.
Not in Tahiti that week. 27th? I think I can do that. I can certainly do that by the 27th. Is that when you want me back?
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Anything else for Shane?
no, it's really nice to have someone else doing all this research for us.
Yeah. Part of the job. Happy to do it. It's fun.
Awesome.
You're like the only building that's like working on stuff still that, because we got new stuff here and there and maybe some older stuff that we're not working on yet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, James.
All right, under communication, we've got the St. Paul, Minnesota Foundation Fund Statement and the Boreal Waters Statement. And then the letter from the state about the annual report. I thought it was interesting that they noted that almost half of Minnesotans have a library card. We're trending right along with the rest of the state, and that more people are using digital media as well, which also follows our trend. We're not being an outlier, which is always a nice change. And then, Oscar, we have your report.
Okay. Tomorrow at the city council meeting, 3 names will be presented to city council for recommendation, and we will have a new board member by next month. It's really exciting. Also, the city has preliminary insurance projections. They're looking to fall into the 12% range, and that will not be finalized until the fall. For outreach, you can see in our front lobby that we have some of the circulating library of food and kitchen equipment from the Northwoods Food Project, and they're also doing some really exciting things around town right now. And so it's been a lot of fun getting to know Kate and the project that they have and how the community can take advantage of like picking up a flour mill or a full-on rototill for a small garden or backyard. And that those are available here is pretty special. So there's information about that in our lobby. And then summer reading program. Yay! Another year. Another year down.
Mm.
So last year, if we look at that, we had maybe, let's say, for reading trackers, 209 were taken and 70 were returned completed. This year we had 336 reading trackers taken. We had to order more. And so far 129 have been completed and returned.
Awesome.
That's great.
We had 364 participations in our ongoing activities. We had, for example, 64 of those were kids reading to plants in the library, for which they would get t-shirts or a tote bag and a book to take home and build their personal library. And then we also had the Find the Mascot game, where the kids would come in once a day and find any of the mascots for a prize and a chance to win a raffle ticket for more prizes at the end of the week. And you can just see the excitement in the children, but also the level of engagement with the rest of the program when you have that incentive to keep coming back to the library. It was so helpful. We also gave away 70 Take and Create kits from Arrowhead Library System. Half of those were Bell Museum Take and Create, so science and nature themed. And then we had the painting canvases with acrylic paint that people could come and pick up. Then we had 4 separate programs. We had the reptile experience, we had Jolly Pops, we had the bugs, and then we had the big parade with the puppet workshop. And altogether, that was 522 people that the library had engaging with our reading program. So if our mission is to get people excited and reading for fun and to get our youth practicing their skills and keeping that sharp and building their personal libraries and just loving the joy of reading, I think we were pretty successful this year. And with the workshop and the parade at the end in particular, that one made me just a little bit nervous because the program set was so long. The workshop was 90 minutes, plus we had a lunch, plus a parade. And we knew that that would span across some children's nap times and things like that. And even still, we had 104 people sprawled all over the floor coloring. You could see the butterfly up there behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
So that those were the puppets that the kids made to flock around Makwa the bear. And then we had all of the games. We had the Y came down with all their daycare kids, and everybody went across the street with Makwa with their butterflies around him, and it was just fantastic. Lots of pictures, lots of shouting, so I'm still hoarse, and it was just such a good program. Really happy about the outcome.
Congrats.
Thank you.
The photos
Yeah.
looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. There's lots of positive social media going around. It's great.
Yes. And thank you to the library friends for helping make it
Oh
happen.
my gosh, Library Friends of Cook County was amazing. I was struggling to recruit talent. They found Big Animal Productions. We had a contribution toward the cost. They carried most of it, over $2,550 just to carry the program, and then also the lodging. And then they also sent volunteers to the program. Like it
Wow.
was so special. And the collaboration was great. We'll talk in a minute about the strategic plan, but when we talk about wanting robust community involvement and what the library is doing, this program really demonstrates it well. The Grand Marais Art Colony contributed to some of the lodging, and we had the Good Harbor Hill players contributing to the puppetry, and all of our community partners and businesses who participate in the incentives program. Jeans donated one of our trays of food. It was just really, really exciting.
That's great. Right, anything else for electors report? Okay, you want to chat about the strategic plan a little?
I feel like we've done a lot of work, and I just wanted to try to find a space and way to communicate the level of work that we've done. And so this is kind of my first attempt at doing that. Focus area 2 is the library leadership uses financial resources wisely to honor public and private contributions. And it really feels like this year that we've transitioned from learning about capital planning to building a strategy to help the library succeed into the future. And not only building the strategy, but doing that in collaboration with city partners, and then having robust presence with the city and the county each this year. It's been really good. So we did the meeting with the finance director and talking about improving our return on investments, but while keeping some of our monies liquid. And we looked at what capital needs we're presenting. We looked at our depreciation schedule and talked about capital replacement schedules and all of that to make that happen. Does the board have any ideas, insights, needs? Where would you like to go with focus area 2 next? What do you need us to help next in this area?
I'm pretty satisfied with what we've done already.
Mm-hmm. Probably next year again. I mean, we'll see if it stays on the strategic plan, but it'll be good to have us more insights. Maybe with a new board member, we'll need another round of trainings, or it's just always good to have a refresh too and go through the finances, make sure everyone's literate.
And just to keep moving forward with our conversations with our partners in between budget years, I think the next place for us to go is for Kim and I to map out what a concrete strategy would be, just showing here's the 5-year plan or the 8-year plan and what it really looks like in action from our perspective today, so that we can have those conversations with our groups.
That would be great.
Yeah. I'm looking for ideas on how we want to publicize quarterly or annual updates. I think it'd be really cool to have one of those like high glossy pie chart things at the end of the year. You know, organizations do some really beautiful things that tell the story of their success, like all the statistics I just provided about summer reading program. I'm kind of wondering what that might look like for us each year, and like when the delivery might happen, and to whom. Arrowhead Broadband does some really beautiful things that are really digestible for everyone to think are pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it makes sense timing-wise, kind of at the same time we do the MPLARs, because that's also when we get the year-end budget numbers and final numbers for fiscal spending. So that might be a nice time to look at, like, you know, percentage of dollars spent on programming or on books and media, or we can kind of brainstorm what that might look like. But I think that'd be a great way to make a user-friendly report of the finances of the library.
So focus area 3 is the library provides staff and leadership the environment and resources they need to provide quality service. And we've all discussed how much attention has been placed on focus area 3, and I've chosen to prioritize other areas. But I just recapped here sort of the work that's been done in that area for security features on the library, the technology upgrades, but importantly, the investment in team building and staff development with our very new staff and wanting to ensure retention and a healthy workplace. And so that work is also in effect right now. I just wanted to mention that. Focus Area 1 is the library inspires robust community involvement. And as we move into the second half of the year, that survey planning is going to become the focus for us. And in the meantime, we've also been using the data that the MPAR showed us. For example, that a third of our circulating material is digital became part of our budget conversation for planning in 2027. The accumulation of an initial collection of Vox books and the Tony box and all of those items are exploratory for how the library's formats will be transitioning in the future and giving them a chance to try them out with our community. I've also started very low risk explorations with public utilities and parks and rec and lodge owners and Visit Cook County, and just starting to have more conversation about what it would look like if we had, if we were part of, if you're a new resident, you're doing your public utilities, of course you need to know about the library services. If you're coming to the campground, did you know that you can register your card here, and so on. On some, done a little bit in that direction. I'd really like to see some professional material move out. It'll take a little bit of development.
Great idea.
We've done so much with care partners and public health and human services prevention coalition this year. It's been really positive, and we're just really starting to understand one another and our mutual missions in new ways. That's very exciting. Tomorrow, this Wednesday, we're going to do Dementia Friends training with care partners. And it's, I guess what I'm just trying to underline here is that there's a lot more work being done in this focus area that doesn't look like a survey, but is the results of contemplating the metrics that we already have available and the community feedback that is already accessible to us, and that we're exploring lots of different thoughts as we also prepare for the development of a formal survey set for different community groups. Okay. Anything else for 2 at the moment, or where are we now? 1?
We're on 1, yeah.
They're out of order on purpose. Okay, focus area 4 is the library provides service to underrepresented and underserved parts of our county. You can see us getting ready for that when we're doing a Dementia Friends training, for example. However, it's really going to be those surveys and identifying an emergent group of individuals wanting and needing attention from the library that will define how we take action and for. So all to say, we're going to be really holding space for focus area 1 in the second half of this year.
I think that makes a lot of sense logically.
I think we can do 4 better if we get 1 done.
Mm-hmm.
Questions, comments, feedback, needs to be, if we got to the end of this year and you knew we nailed it, you knew that we had done enough, you knew that we had done something meaningful and productive together on the strategic plan, do you have any course corrections or suggestions in that way?
No, I'm kind of surprised that we're moving through it. Maybe better than I thought we would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's lots of overlap too, but that's a great thing. Amongst the different priority areas, I think that's leveraging work.
Mm-hmm.
That's always great. And similar to my comment last year, of course it's never enough, right? There's always more to do, but I'm very grateful for what has been done, and I think you did an excellent job delivering.
Thank you.
I'll try to think of something lacking.
Yeah, that's our homework assignment, to really find the flaws in all that we've done, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd just always encourage more staff development, team building, and that sort of thing. Leadership training if for you or other staff, or it's just always really helpful. I think.
Mhm.
Not to say that. I mean, obviously, you're doing, but just want to encourage that.
Thank you. Okay.
Hey. Thank you. Anything else for us this evening? No. We can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here.